There are around 11,000 different species of bird, each with its own diversity. Now within those species, there are a few unifying traits that link things together to tell us they are in fact a bird. There are the feathers, of course, which no other living creature in the world has. There are also beaks, which are not strictly for birds, but are unanimously found throughout the class. Birds also lay hard-shelled eggs and have hollow bones. All these characteristics unify them under a single class, the aves. But birds didn't always have these characteristics. In fact, their ancestors look nothing like the modern-day bird. What is interesting about the avian lineage is that all birds come from a branch of the dinosaurs, which means that the birds are in fact dinosaurs. The oldest fossil in the true bird lineage is that of the Archaeopteryx lithographica, which was originally found in a quarry in Germany. It is thought to have lived around 50 million years ago, in the middle of the Jurassic period. But don't be fooled, this is not the first true bird, just the oldest avian fossil we have currently discovered. The real origins of the aves dates back a few million years before, with the evolution of the paraves. This is a branch of the theropods, which were the bipedal dinosaurs. Some of the most famous dinosaurs, including the Tyrannosaurus and the Spinosaurus, belong to the theropod family. Around 160 million years ago, the paraves split from the theropods to become the first true birds. Now, we don't have any fossils from the first true birds, but by using other fossils from around the time period, we can piece together what they might have been like. Most likely, they were incredibly small, having feathers on their arms and tail, but still having a mouth with teeth. While not all that different from modern-day birds, they still have a long path to go.
Birds can be found all over the world. From the thick rainforests of South America to the frozen deserts of Antarctica, a diverse array of species can be found. But in order to achieve this widespread takeover, each bird has to be specially adapted to its environment.
In the spring and summer of the prairies, like it is here now in Canada, seabirds will be doing their yearly migration. The term seabirds isn't really all that specific. Instead, it refers to a large group of all sorts of birds with similar adaptations, ranging from some species of ducks all the way to penguins. Now, it's an incredibly diverse group, but they all share similar traits. As well, all seabirds share a common ancestor, the common Hesperorniths. The Hesperorniths. Hesperorniths, which gave them the adaptation of webbed feet and waterproof feathers. Now, modern-day seabirds also carry a few other adaptations, such as a gland that filters out salt from their blood, and thick plumage to keep them insulated on the bodies of water. Now, one particular group of seabirds is the seagulls. Now, there are many species of seagulls, but they all share similar traits. One that I would like to draw your attention to is their wing shape. Now, the structure of wings helps different species of birds to fly in different sorts of ways. Specializing helps to utilize one specific tactic. Seagulls have what is known as active soaring wings. They are characteristically long and narrow with a distinctive bend in the third wing joint. This shape of wing helps the birds to utilize air currents that flow over bodies of water. It helps them to stay elevated without using too much energy. As well, the currents help them to fly long distances between each bodies of land. There are other species of bird besides seagulls that utilize active soaring wings. Many of those live by the ocean's coast.
On the topic of wings, did you know that wings weren't originally evolved for flight? Evolution is never an intentional process. It's more like a random lottery where one mutation occurs and the individual finds the best use for it. Then the process of natural selection takes place and weeds out all the weaker versions of the trait until the best possible version of the creature is left. This is how we get almost everything in nature, give or take a few other variables.
The process of flying all starts with the evolution of the unidirectional lung. You may be wondering, how does lungs relate to flying at all? And I'm here to tell you that airflow is one of the key components to flight in birds. Birds need a lot of oxygen to fly as they are constantly using their muscles. But the problem is, there's less and less air the higher up you go. Combating this issue is the special respiratory system of the aves. It functions by keeping the air flowing at all time, by storing air in special air sacs that are located inside of the bones. Now, bones are also an important part of bird flight. What makes them special in birds is that they're hollow, which keeps the air flowing and improves flexibility. Both their hollow bones and their special lungs evolved for the same reason. During the Triassic period, it was incredibly hot and incredibly dry. As a means to keep themselves cool and reduce energy usage, the theropods adapted for better airflow. The final component needed for flight was the long feathers. Originally, the evolution of feathers had absolutely nothing to do with flying. Instead, they were a means to keep certain dinosaurs insulated. Evolving around 200 million years ago, during the middle of the Jurassic, feathers were more hair-like than they are to modern-day feathers. Now, as millions of years passed, feathers started to get longer, which allowed some of the theropods to start to glide. Because of this, natural selection started to favor longer feathers over shorter ones. Finally, around 160 million years ago, the paraves had all the necessary components to achieve muscle-powered flight.
The flight evolution was obviously a very big part of birds and their identity. So you start to wonder, why in today's time are there birds without this trait?
Birds that exist today come from ancestors that had the ability to fly. Ornithologists today don't really know the real reason behind flightless birds, but there are some theories to explain it. One such theory is that older avian species colonized places that did not hold any predators. These birds lost their need for a quick getaway and evolved to lose their ability to fly completely. This theory is supported by the fact that we do not see a whole lot of flightless birds today. Many of them were likely killed off when any sort of predator joined the area. Now you may be familiar with the dodo bird, a now extinct flightless bird. They are a robust bird, around the size of a turkey, and quite muted in color, often being gray or brown. Dodos lived in an area that held absolutely no predators for a very long time. As such, they evolved out of the need to fly. Another thing they evolved out of was a fight or flight response. They became trusting of anything and everything. In the early 1600s, human colonizers first made contact with the dodo birds, and quickly, the dodo became a food source. By 1861, every dodo bird was extinct by direct human hand. Now, not all flightless birds took it to the extreme that the dodos did. Most of the common flightless birds today are in the order Strethioniformes. This group includes the ostrich, emu, cassowary, and kiwi. By looking at this order, we are able to see that some species of flightless bird swapped out their ability to fly with another tactical advantage. The ostrich, for example, evolved to be very large in size. They also have incredibly powerful legs, using them to hunt most of their prey. On top of that, they also evolved special feet, having 2 toes instead of 4. This foot shape is often compared to a horse, as both have been evolved for similar reasons, going fast.
Most people take chickens as a flightless bird. However, this is not the entire truth. Chickens do have the ability to fly, just not very well. To be truly flightless, a bird has to lack the ability to do anything more than jump. Chickens can get off the ground, leading them to fall into the same category as ducks, quails, and geese. Birds that have been domesticated.
This is Charlotte, and she is a domestic breed of chicken called Americana. Now, what's special about these guys is they will actually lay colored eggs. Most hens that you see, they'll either lay brown or white eggs, but Americanas, they'll either lay green or blue eggs, which is very nifty. Now, if we look at Charlotte here, we can see traits that weren't originally present in jungle fowl before domestication. As you can see, she has a very round, robust body, and I apologize for this, very short wings, which obviously you can't fly on. Now, before domestication, the wings on jungle fowl, which are chickens, were a lot longer, allowing them to actually fly off the ground. Not very well still, but they could fly. But as domestication persisted on, they lost all need for quick getaways, so their wings shrunk.
In truth, the only reason chickens are not able to fly now is because of human interference in their development. Selective breeding to benefit human consumption has altered their bodies in a way that makes flying an impossibility. Something you see a lot in nature is how human interference affects many things' development.